34 with Charlie Green, the poetry buyer. "I learned the business very thoroughly when I was a girl," she said. "I don't think it's changed in essentials since then." "But you've never been in a managerial position. Well, there are one or two things that might be worth saying. Call them words of advice, if you will." There were very few new enterprises in Hardborough, and the notion of one, like a breath of sea air far inland, faintly stirred the sluggish atmosphere of the bank. "I mustn't take up your time, Mr. Keble." "Oh, you must allow me to be the judge of that. I think I might put it in this way. You must ask yourself, when you envisage yourself opening a bookshop, what your objective really is. That is the first question needful to a business of any kind. Do you hope to give our little town a service that it needs? Do you hope for sizable profits? Or are you, perhaps, Mrs. Green, a jogger along, with little understanding of the vastly different world which the 1960s may have in store for us? I've often thought that it's a pity there isn't some accepted course of study for the small businessman or woman." Evidently, there was an accepted course for bank managers. Launched on the familiar current, Mr. Keble's voice gathered pace, with the burden of many waters. He spoke of the necessity of professional bookkeeping, systems of loan repayment, and opportunity costs. "I would like to put a point, Mrs. Green, which in all probability has not occurred to you, and yet which is so plain to those of us who are in a position to take the broader view. My point is this. If over any given period of time the cash inflow cannot meet the cash outflow, it is safe to predict that money difficulties are not far away." Florence had known this ever since her first payday, when at the age of 16 she had become self-supporting. She prevented herself from making a sharp reply. What had become of her resolve as she crossed the marketplace to the bank building, whose solid red brick defied the prevailing wind, to be sensible and tactful? "As to the stock, Mr. Keble, you know that I've been given the opportunity of buying most of what I need from Muller's, now that they're closing down." She managed to say this resolutely, although she had felt the closure as a personal attack on her memories. "I've had no estimate for that as yet, and as to the premises, you agreed that £3,500 was a fair price for the freehold of the old house and the oyster shed." To her surprise, the manager hesitated. "The property has been standing empty for a long time now. That is, of course, a matter for your house agent and your solicitor, Thornton, isn't it?" This was an artistic flourish, a kind of weakness, since there were only 2 solicitors in Hardborough. "But I should have thought the price might have come down further. The house won't walk away if you decide to wait a little. Deterioration, damp." "The bank is the only building in Hardborough which isn't damp," Florence replied. "Working here all day may perhaps have made you too demanding." "And then I've heard it suggested, I'm in a position where I can say that I understand it may have been suggested, that there are other uses to which the house might be put, though, of course, there is always the possibility of a resale." "Naturally, I want to reduce expenses to a minimum." The manager prepared to smile understandingly, but spared himself the trouble when Florence added sharply, "But I've no intention of reselling. It's a peculiar thing to take a step forward in middle age, but having done it, I don't intend to retreat. What else do people think the old house could be used for? Why haven't they done anything about it in the past 7 years? There were jackdaws nesting in it, half the tiles were off. It stank of rats. Wouldn't it be better as a place where people could stand and look at books?" "Are you talking about culture?" the manager said, in a voice halfway between pity and respect. "Culture is for amateurs. I can't run my shop at a loss. Shakespeare was a professional." It took less than it should have done to fluster Florence, but at least she had the good fortune to care deeply about something. The manager replied